The 2018 Canadians Women's Classic here. Ken Platink, along with Jerry Gertz, we are up in the Tavern United broadcast booth, bringing you all the exciting action from this year's event. And we have the championship final just getting underway right now as Team Carey is taking on Team Einarson.
Yeah, great matchup here. You've got Team Einarson, who's really had a great start to the year. You know, they're firing on all cylinders. 4 World Curling Tour titles coming into this game, taking on Chelsea Carey. This team is a little bit of a work in progress. You know, they struggled quite a bit to get to this final, battled and ground their way through the sea, but they're here. And talking to Chelsea last night, it's all about just getting to the playoffs. Doesn't matter how you do it.
Well, they've gotten here to the final, and tonight we're going to see an exciting matchup between Team Carey and Team Einarson. Let's take a look at some of the action now on sheet number 4 of this exciting championship game. And rocks have already been thrown into play, and we're going to see, I think, a very clean first end as we go already, as one was thrown in the rings, and Team Einarson just decides to remove it. So no guards right off the hop.
We have Brianne Knapp throwing lead stones here for the Carey team. Brianne is a spare this weekend. Heather Rogers, who has been playing with Carey early this season, is away. But of course, the regular lead on this team is Rochelle Brown, who played with Val Sweeting last year. And Rochelle welcomed a child into this world, their first child. Finn, I believe, is his name. And so she's got a little bit of a later start to the season, but she should be back soon.
Brianne Mayer with her second stone here of this end. They are playing it very clean in this first end.
Yeah, just getting a feel for it. One sheet out on the ice. A lot of times what happens is that when you're the only sheet, the conditions are a little bit different than when the house is full. So, you know, it can tend to get a little bit straighter, a little bit faster. So you don't want to get yourself into too much trouble in that first end and make some mistakes that essentially lose you the game before you get a chance to get comfortable.
We've seen very arena-style ice here at the Portage Curling Club. Great job by the ice-making staff here that have put together what I'm going to describe as very nice curly ice, where the teams really like the amount of sway the rock has as it's going back and forth.
Yeah, you're talking about arena ice conditions here. Greg Owasco, who's kind of a roving nomad of making ice, part of the whole generations of great ice makers in this province, and he's come on board to help the local ice maker Farrell Asham, who manages the facility here year round, and it's a great team. They put a ton of hours in to prep this ice and create these great conditions.
So we're into second stones right now. This is Dana Ferguson, Team Carey, looking just to put one into the rings. Something underneath that rock, I think she feels, just decides to give it another second sweep. She is a southpaw here for the team.
Dana Ferguson was also part of Val Sweeting's Alberta-based team last year. Of course, we'll see Val throwing shortly for Team Einarson.
And Gary gets the centerline guard. And Einarson just deciding to remove it right away. Shannon Burchard.
Yes. Hard.
Throwing second stones here. Hit. Roll out. Moving on to third stones now. This is Sarah Wilkes. Her first stone this end.
So for Sarah, this is the first year that she's really been back into playing this game competitively for several years now. Last played a bit with Laura Crocker back it's probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But a very accomplished player, very good player. She joined Rachel Homan's team, filling in for an event 2 seasons ago at the Champions Cup, and they went on to win the title there. So, you know, very good player. Just, you know, life, you know, opportunities have gotten in the way in the past for her.
Hard! Hard, 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 hard. Oh, we're good there. Okay.
Val Sweeting with the hit and ends up rolling over a little bit. I think they were looking to get that stone out of play, but opportunity now for Carey to draw behind something.
Yeah, Anderson with the hammer here in the first end. That comes from qualifying out of the A event. Chelsea Carey is coming out of the C event, so that advantage goes to the team with the higher ranking.
Sarah Wilkes with the draw behind some blue cover in the corner. Rock needs to move a little bit. She gets it about a half buried from our angle here. Second stone here for Val Sweeting, the third for Team Anderson.
Hack down right now. Whoa. Yep. It's down. Whoa. 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 No, roll it. Okay. Bump 2. Down in.
It's the sticks. Opportunity now for Carey to play down on that rock and try to get a little roll under cover.
Okay. Just bumper probably. It's my phone now.
Chelsea Carey with her first stone in this first end. Looking for a little roll behind cover. Needs this rock to make its move. It's hanging on the center line. Going to try to roll it the opposite direction.
Well, get as much roll as possible there to take the potential for a hit and roll under cover. This is a bit of a dangerous one here for the Anderson team. If they were to roll, they might be right about on the tee line. Don't have the overhead right in front of us as to where they would go. You definitely don't want to be too deep here and give Carey an opportunity to freeze to it and force you to a single point here in the first end. So looks like this one's half in the 4-foot in the top. A roll would take you, you know, top button kind of depth. That seems to be pretty good. Good roll here and a chance for 2.
Carey Anderson with her first rock this end.
Close. Yep. Close. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Gets a hit. Looking for the roll behind cover. Not
Almost.
quite there.
Something I find really interesting, I'm not sure if and when this made the change or this was something that they've been doing all year, but Shannon Burchard is in the house on Carey Anderson's shots. Val Sweeting is sweeping. I believe early in the season when they were playing, it was Val and Carey together. But, you know, it's not like they don't have enough skips who can help out here.
Carey now with her second rock. The roll here is very important if she wants to try to hold Anderson to one. Sweepers on this one for line right away. Playing very controlled the weight. They need to hold it for line. Do they get it by the guard? Just barely. But this one rolls out too far.
That was too good.
Too close to that guard. Yeah, it should just maybe a little more weight would have helped there.
Yeah, this is great. Tad bit more. Oh, that's good. No, yours. Yeah. So I think I like that.
Final stone in this first end of play.
Yep.
Anderson looking for the peel and the blank.
Yes. Hard.
Gets it, rolls it out, and we have no score after one end of play. You are watching the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic live from the Portage Curling Club. We'll be back after this short break.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
The 2018 Canadians Women's Classic, and we are done end number 1, and we are on to end number 2. Got a bit of a shout out. We're going to throw it out to a good buddy of both of ours in Toronto that's watching the broadcast right now, Chad McMullen, the owner of Rock Solid Productions. Rocks and Rings is the thing that they do.
Yeah, he's been traveling the world at the same time too, but he's getting to go to a little bit more exotic locales.
Not us.
No, I spend my time mostly traveling small town Canada in the winter, which it's fun to see these different places. But Chad's working on getting curling going in Mexico, and he's been involved helping Ray Hussein with curling in Guyana. And as well, he did a Brazilian trip several years ago. So, I think he's got a pretty good gig going on.
His brother, actually, last week during the Men's Classic, of course, is from Team Brazil. He's part of Team Brazil. Yep. But he was out in South Korea watching our men's broadcast and put a shout out to me saying, hey, I had noticed you on the broadcast. So, big shout out to Scott McMullen as well. And lots of people from around the world watching what we're doing here today. And thank you for joining us, and more curling action coming up here at the Portage Curling Club in just a few weeks as we get the Canadians mixed doubles happening. So can't wait to have that event happening in a few weeks.
Yeah, that one will be the next one from here. We're hoping to have another event here in Canada before that at the beginning of November. It's close. Atlantic Canadian event, so we'll see a mix of new teams and some of the best teams playing out there. So stay tuned for that announcement. Hopefully we'll come up with that soon.
And if you want to know more about what the World Curling Tour has to offer, you can always check them out on their social media. They have lots on their platforms. We're going to show you a little bit of how to get in touch with the World Curling Tour in just a few moments, but first get you updated with what's going on here on the sheet. There is a rock that is on the center line for Team Anderson, I should say, and there is a center line guard, so they're trying to suck another one in there. sit. Perhaps shot rock. This rock has a lot of weight. Could chip it back a little bit.
Yeah, this was a bit of a problem for the Kerry team in the last game against China. You know, they tried a few of these types of shots, and they ended up throwing a bunch of them about 6 inches, a foot too heavy. Just that little bounce off that left some opportunities. So,
hey, if you want to know more about the World Curling Tour and what they do, you can always check them out on some of their social media. You guys are on Facebook?
Yeah, we have Facebook, Twitter, of course our website as well, and our YouTube channel where you can watch this feed and many other things that were going on. We had 4 different events going on this weekend, 3 with full commentary, full package. The one in Finland, the PAF Masters, the Champery Masters in Switzerland, that I believe Peter de Cruz won that one. And of course in Gatineau we've got a fixed camera set up where you can still watch and follow the games. So lots of streaming coverage out there from all the events, and it's pretty exciting to see the opportunity. And you know, stuff like this is important for teams and to get some exposure, and their sponsors and everything to get seen. And these curlers make a living off of TV now. You know, the prize purses are not big. You know, it's still very much similar to prize purses of 20 years ago. So you think of with inflation and all that, the value is definitely significantly different. But the sponsorship that the teams wear on their backs, that's really their bread and butter nowadays. So every opportunity to get seen, you know, the streaming, the TV, and everything as well. And you see all these teams decked out with some great gear here.
Of course, you can see Qualico is one of the major sponsors.
Yeah, that's Chelsea Carey's title sponsor, home builder in Western Canada here. And of course, Red Roof Lager has come on board with Kerry Anderson's team. I'm not so familiar with that one, but I hear you.
I'm well aware of Red Roof Lager. In fact, if you look at the symbol, it's very similar to the Salisbury House symbol. So, of course, yeah, Salisbury House, that is their lager, and they are a proud sponsor of Team Anderson. So, of course, they need the shout-outs too, right? This how this all works, and the shout-outs that we're going to be giving throughout the course of the ends to our many sponsors of the Canadian Women's Classic. They're so important. If we didn't have those, this wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you got it. It really makes the game go, and it makes it possible for these players to dedicate the amount of time they do. They're pretty close to full-time players now. If they've got a job, you know, it's to support what they do. But many of these top players are playing this game full-time, and, you know, they're still not making a lot of money at it yet.
So a slew of stones right now in the house. Looks like blue is counting 2 right now, almost 3. So they have first, second, and fourth shot rock. And Kerry looking to remove some blue.
Gets rid of one of the blue stones. They have a line of their 3 stones on the top of the 8-foot there. Those are well positioned. You know, for Anderson, this is a bit of a challenge here.
An inch of air.
She's thinking about just throwing one on top of those, just to kind of block off some of the potential tap backs.
Just checking into the YouTube chat here. We do have a viewer from Brazil.
Yep.
If anybody wants to check in, let us know where you're watching from. It's always great to see where our curling fans are coming from here as well.
Hard! Hard! Whoa! Great shot.
There you go. Beautiful hit and roll there.
Taps one out, rolls over to freeze up against another yellow stone. So
the issue there, though, is those 2 are staggered. And if Chelsea can play the other yellow stone back, the one that is on the open side, try and tap it straight back, side of the button, ideally get it right on the tee line, just in front of the blue stone in the back there, corner frozen. there's a good chance she'll be sitting shot, and you know, that staggered pair on the top 8 foot becomes a detriment for Sweeting. So, you know, important shot here for Sarah Wilkes.
Pretty good. Back 8, back 12. Coming down, back 8. Back 4. Okay, weight's really coming off. Back 4. Just a little tap.
Just looking to push back one of her yellow stones. The weight, beautiful, but looks like she's second shot, so not too bad.
Yeah, it looks like that angle goes onto the Sweeting stone, biting the back of the button there.
Okay. Do we ever do that? It looks like they should go over top of both of these. You want to take a look? Come take a look.
So shout out to Gretchen in Portland, Oregon. We've got Simone and Bras watching in Brazil. Donald in Gaspé, Quebec. We have viewers in Omaha, Nebraska, Toledo, Ohio. Pretty neat to see the vast spread of people checking us out here.
We're up to skip stones in a moment. First, Val Sweeting with the opportunity here to move some granite around.
Yep.
She's on the top one.
It opens up the 4 foot. That's the key thing that shot just did. They weren't totally happy with it because I think they were hoping that their stones would end up in a better spot. You know, Carrie can play this tap back here on this yellow stone again, lie 4 potentially. The good news though for Sweeting and on her shot, she's gonna have a chance to draw one in and hopefully lie shot here. So
Sarah Wilkes looking to tap back her own yellow directly back onto the blue. And she does, sitting 4 now. Team Carey in the driver's seat.
Run that into here.
yeah, trying another run back here. I like this call. There's a good chance that with this run back, if they get a little bit of an angle on it, they can get both those yellows top 8 moving and then roll the shooter over for a corner guard too. Val Sweeting back-to-back Scotty's runners-up. Go back to 2014 and I believe 2015.
Sweepers on it hard for line. She's got 1, 2.
Not quite. Left that pair still at the top there. They really wanted to get both those yellows moving, but a little bonus taking the one off the tee line. That's not such a bad thing.
So Chelsea Carey from Edmonton, Alberta. It's her first rock this end.
Okay, we got a little bit of room. Okay, we got some room. Wait only right now. Curling a little, still room.
Just trying to get this one to draw behind the two center stones, and the weight looks a little hot. Gets it behind the tee line. Now a bit of an opportunity here for Anderson to hit and roll over to the center.
You can play it back. You can follow them down. Yeah. And go there, right? Okay. My hack waiter was pretty groggy. Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna. Yeah.
So definitely some history between these two skips. Carrie Anderson and Chelsea Carey have played 18 times in their career. Anderson holds a 14-4 advantage. Looks like she's won the last 11 meetings at the same time too. So this one's been a little one-sided. Last time they played was at the Curlers Corner Autumn Gold Classic in Calgary. Anderson 7-1 winners. That's their only meeting so far this season.
First rock for Team Anderson. Skip stones.
Close. No. Whoa. No, 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 no. Close.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Anything you
Whoa.
have. Anything.
Trying for a little roll. That one hits it right on the nose. And now Carey with the opportunity to do the exact same thing and hit and roll behind those two on the center.
Got it. Fill up a little bit, nothing crazy. Split center if you can.
Last rock for Chelsea Carey here in this second end.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Close, Sarah. No. No, never. No. No, no, no. Anything, Sarah. It looks like it's going.
Hit, bit of a roll.
Nice.
Perfectly behind covers. So sitting 3 now. That leaves Anderson the opportunity to draw to the button to salvage a 1.
Or it's grab. Yeah. And then grabbed at the end. Okay, what are you guys thinking here? Like a 14? Okay. So right to the button. It's open. 14.
Last rock here of this second end. Carrie Anderson
Okay, line's nice.
drawing for a single, needs a piece of the button, a good piece.
Okay, room.
Okay,
It's got a curl.
Brianne's rock.
Easy,
Not
looks like
curling,
it's
guys. Whoa.
Rock's not moving, staying wide out there, and it looks like it's a bit heavy.
Oh.
Just
It's
didn't
a
quite
steal
get
of
the read.
1, 2, 3. And Carey jumps out to a 3-0 lead after 2 ends of play. Wake just was not even close, just way past the house.
Yeah, it looked really bad because of it was so far out there, but you know, it looked like just 4 or 5 feet too much weight, and when you throw that much extra weight, it's not a lot, it's just a small mistake. It can make you look foolish on ice like this.
Well, you are watching the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic live here from the Portage Curling Club. We'd like to take just a few moments to thank some of our many sponsors who've helped put this event on this year. Well, we've played 2. We've got 6 to go. You're watching the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic. And these ladies are playing for a pretty nice purse, over $60,000 of prize money for this event, with teams coming from 32 places. Canada, U.S., Scotland, China, Japan, Korea, just some of those teams. And previous winners include Team Jones in 2014. She won this one. And Team Kim of Korea in 2015. Team Homan in 2016. And Team Roth was last year's champion in 2017. So this is the 5th year of the Canadians Women's Classic, and we are proud to bring you the broadcast of this year's event. Ken Plating, Jerry Gertz from the World Curling Tour here to bring you the play-by-play and color commentary. Thank you for joining us here this evening. And we are already seeing a rock in play here as Team Carey throws one into the rings.
Yep, 3-0. You're going to throw that first one in. Now corner guards go up. You know, we've seen a lot of crazy comebacks this weekend, so don't be turning that tube off yet.
It was a 3-point steal in the second end for Team Carey.
Curling. 15-3. 15-3. Okay, good. Good. That works, Brianne.
So an opportunity to throw up another guard, perhaps a biter, into the top 12. Brianne Knapp, the lead, who's filling in here for Team Carey. Rocks are really moving here, and so they're just trying to get it close to the rings as possible, and it's a beautiful guard. 2 nice stones in a row for Knapp.
Right here. Copy. Okay. We should be good here.
Again, here's something very different from what you would expect in 5-rock. Rock goes in, corner goes up, and Chelsea Carey throws a guard up 3.
Top 8 right now, top 4.
She has to. If she doesn't throw that guard there, Anderson's going to be able to throw a corner on the other side. And then what's going to happen is Chelsea's going to have a hard time minimizing and preventing a 2. So, you know, this is how it needs to be played now.
Yep. Atta girl.
Definitely creates more exciting curling for the fans, too, when you can't just take a 2-3 point lead and run for the hills like some of the best hitting teams in the game.
Dana Ferguson now with her first second stone. She too is trying to come around that center line guard and freeze up to the red that's on top of their yellow.
Line's pretty good. You can go now. Line's good.
Just waiting for this to curl. Finishes very nicely in there. That stone in the back, though. Anderson's looking at playing a hit and roll underneath the corner guard.
Out a bit. Yeah, we just kind of have to make sure we get the nose on that, eh? I don't mind the first. Because even if we tick and roll behind, that's okay.
Think
Yeah,
like
I don't think we have to play quite hack.
So looking to come through the port, not with big weight, but enough to move some things around. Shannon Burchard with her first stone of the end.
Close, yep. Yep, yep. Yep. Hard.
They need this one for line. Looks like it's going to wreck on the front.
Yep, yep.
Nothing wrong with chipping off that center guard. They got to hit it hard, thinner though.
Instead, it just pushes the yellow stone to the back of the house.
That's okay.
Yeah, they roll to a corner and tap that one to the tee line, so that's okay for Anderson here. They would have liked to hit that a little bit thinner and kick off the backside of that corner and maybe score it into the rings.
Opportunity now for Carey to throw up another center line guard. Sweepers just leave this one, finish on its own, and it's a nice guard for Team Carey.
Run it this way. Peel.
She's going to peel the top guard. Burchard with her second stone of the end. Big weight on this one.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. No, 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 no. Yep, 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 yep.
Gets one on the back, and they move all the stones at once.
Great shot there from Shannon Burchard.
Beautiful stone. Sarah Wilkes now with her first third stone.
Yep. Whoa, whoa. Close. Whoa, whoa. Roll, Brianne.
Nice hit, a bit of a roll.
Nice shot.
And just like that, yellow is now sitting 3.
That looks so smooth.
Yeah, Carey's team's definitely come to play.
I wanted to call backline.
Continue to put some pressure on with an aggressive style of game plan here.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. It's funny to have
Really like their approach to this new Five Rock game.
Oh.
Val Sweeting now with her first stone of the end.
Line fine.
Looking to
Wait only. No.
slide one in behind her center line guard.
Oh, no, no. No, 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 no.
Rock hung out there pretty long.
Okay.
And they're going to sweep this one as far back as they can. It gets to the back of the 4, so still a good Rock of play. It's shots Rock right now, so gives the Carey team an opportunity to draw up against something.
Yeah, for Sweeting, she would have liked to seen her Rock being taken further back. Throws third with the Anderson team here. The problem with that is it's too close to the button. So now you're really condensing the scoring area there. They needed to get that back as far as possible. If they managed to get that all the way back to the Yellowstone, they still would have been shot. They would have been able to use more room there to try and generate a multiple point score. Fortunately for Sarah Wilkes here, this one really hangs out.
And they drag it to the back of the 12-foot, so.
Yeah, that's essentially a 0 right now for the team without hammer. Not a good shot from Sarah Wilkes. Again, same problem there. Just a little bit too much weight. Doesn't take the curl, and you look like you look foolish on a shot like that. That looks like a terrible miss. But it's just a matter of just being a hair too heavy, and it's very possible that the ice conditions are causing this. The only sheet on the ice runs a little straighter, a little faster, and so they're adjusting to that right now.
This Rock hanging out there.
Same thing here.
No. Finish.
Now weight is
No, 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 no. Don't just leave it.
perhaps a little bit closer. This one will stop at the tee line, but
Yeah, still not buried fully, and you know, it is above the tee line just, but it is still a little bit too deep because Chelsea can come down. She can get to the nose of this and, you know, tap it back 6 inches, create a pocket for her stone to be very difficult to remove.
Chelsea Carey now with the opportunity to tap one back, try to sit one. Chelsea Carey with her first skip stone here in the third end of play.
Line's good. Line's good. Okay, got a little bit of room. Tap bounce, guys. Straight freeze. Okay, room. It's close. Straight freeze. Okay, line's really nice. Yep. Brianne, yep. Yes. Brianne.
Sweeping this one hard now for line.
Hard. Really hard.
It's a tap. Is it far enough back though?
It's still in a very good place. It looks like blue is still sitting shot. It's really close though. But that rock top of the button is in a really good spot. It looks like there's a port on the other side of that center guard as well. That you know, from the long shot, if you can get through that, the angle, you would promote it right onto that blue stone. So I think Sweeting just has to kind of protect her point here. Try and get. Sorry, I keep calling them Sweeting. Anderson's team has to come down, corner freeze on that top yellow, hopefully create an angle so that on her next shot she's got something to run in and then remove that yellow.
Yeah, we're shot one.
First skip stone here for Carey Anderson in the third end of play.
Yep, line. Yep.
Sweepers are hard on this one for line.
Hard line.
And
hard. Hard. Hard line. Yeah,
worried about weight on this
hard.
one.
Keep the angle. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Rushers
hard.
are trying to drag this stone all the way back.
They don't want to touch it though.
They may have tapped it in for shot rock pretty close.
Yeah, it's got a good angle. So for Anderson, they could run their blue center guard in. That would set up a potential for 3 or 4. They've also got some angles there as well that might be better for creating a shot to get rid of that yellow stone.
Hard to tell who may have the shot rock.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's yellow now. The angle we're looking at this is not ideal, so it's kind of like you know, looking sideways at these.
Worry this if we're not perfect, we might have double.
So Team Carey discussing here and what to do to prevent a double and give them a chance to score 2 or more.
The thing is right now, hitting that blue stone that's in front of the yellow is going to hit one of those other 2 blues and going to stick around somewhere. So, you know, it's not such a bad angle for Carey right now. You know, Anderson was hoping to corner freeze on it so that then hitting it would actually cause it to go a little out the side a little bit. So it's just a little too heavy on the weight there. I think they're looking at coming down, trying to tap the blue stone, you know, roll the shooter out into the 8-foot there. Make sure it's deep enough that it doesn't leave the double from the yellow ones. The other thing that it'll do is it'll actually leave a pocket, a bigger pocket for Carrie Stone on the top of the button there and keep it protected.
Yeah. Do you think that's easier? Like where you want to hit it just like
So this weekend's tournament was a triple knockout format. 32 teams started in an A event. You had 3 lives or before they sent you home in the preliminary round. You win all your games in the preliminary, you would qualify out the A side. There were 2 teams that got out the A into the 8-team playoff bracket. Carrie Anerson was one of those 2 teams. There's a B event as well. 2 teams qualify at the B. So when you lose in the A, you drop into the B, and you start playing through the bracket. If you lose in the B, then you drop into the C. And in the C, that's your last life. There's 4 spots for the playoffs to round out that final 8. But you lose again, then you're in the D event, going home.
Final stone here for Team Carey. Risky shot, you think?
No, I think this is the type of shot Chelsea's got to play here. She's just trying to, you know, improve her position a little bit. Get rid of one of these Anderson stones in the back there. Playing a little more weight than I thought she was, but that's
right
quite
by
fine.
the guard. Nice shot.
Makes the double even. That's a great shot. I don't think she thought she could get that to get both out.
So the question is, if she noses it, will she get 2? They think that she will, so.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yours came up here a bit, hey?
Still a nice shot. Prevented the disaster of an end here that was potentially going to happen. Not a gimme here either for Anerson. But if she can make a nice run back here and stick it in the 4-foot, we'll see 2 points on the board, and they'll be right back in this.
Carrie Anerson with her last rock here of the 3rd end, a run back.
Whoa!
Rock
Whoa!
is hanging out there.
Yeah, that's...
The damage.
Send it back.
and it holds.
And it holds. She gets her deuce. We've got a game. 3-2 is your score after 3 ends of play. You are watching the 2018 Canad Inns Women's Classic live from the Portage Curling Club.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
And welcome back to the Portage Curling Club, home of the 2018 Canad Inns Men's and Women's Classic, and of course the mixed doubles coming up in just a few weeks from now. I want to take a few moments here to mention something that's very important here, and it is a good fundraiser. And I'm going to pass it over to Jerry to talk a little bit about the Women of Curling calendar.
Yeah, this is something that George Carries has been very involved in building, and he took over this from a group in Europe who used to do this fundraising calendar. Last season it was the Men of Curling calendar with some scantily clad photos of the gentlemen. This year it's the women's turn to fundraise for some great causes. The players, they choose their photographer, they choose the photo that they want to put forward, and then the causes that each curler holds dear to their heart is who they support. So this is something that you see a lot of the curlers from Canada. You've got some Americans in there. Satsuki Fujisawa is actually in there as well from Japan, and some Europeans too. So check out womenofcurling.com. Be sure to get your copy, and the other option is you go to the website, you see the different players that are participating in it. Each of the players also has stock with them too, so if you ever see one of the players on tour or around at a Grand Slam or other events, be sure to reach out to them and they'll set you up with one.
Perfect. Well, we are playing the fourth end right now. Scores 3-2 in favor of Team Carey. They now have the hammer. Couple guards in play. Team Anderson just throwing some rocks up. Another center line rock, looking for it to get halfway between the house and the hog line.
Almost a perfect kick, too.
Hard.
Sweeping it hard for weight, and
Great press. Good. Good.
great shot. So Carey here looking just to split that center line guard, just move it over a few feet.
Really hard. Really hard. Okay, whoa.
Sweepers on this one for
Yep. Hard.
weight line. They will instead chip the top one.
Oh, that's a great shot.
And Anderson trying to get that one out of play so they can remove it and put it back into play.
Yeah, a little tick shot there, roll to a corner guard. Again, control that middle. Don't get into too much trouble. Yeah, I really like Chelsea's approach here.
It's such an important shot to be able to play in times like this, to be able to move a guard around and still keep it in play and roll over into cover and create your own guard out of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty high center guard right now. Looks like Anderson is going to go around here.
Line's great. Hard. Hard. Line's really good. Line's really good. Yep. Yep.
Sweepers now, it's their job to get it to where it needs to be.
Hard. No, gotta go.
Rock sliding nicely into play and bites the top of the 8. And Carey now looking for the double. We can now play the rocks outside of the rings.
The angle here is actually set up well for that. You hit 7/8, 3/4 on the outside here, and you'll roll your shooter over for another corner guard as well. Just needs to curl up a hair.
She only gets one and does manage another corner guard.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Anderson's going to have to throw it back up. The key here for Anderson is if she's going to show a side of the rock in the rings, it has to be the open side. So if she throws this guard and she shows the side on the corner guard side, Carey can come down with a hack weight, hit a quarter, and roll her shooter underneath that pile of corner guards there. So it's very important to make sure that the proper side of this stone is protected.
Okay, whoa. Line's fine. Line's fine. Whoa. Gotta stop. Good. Atta girl.
And another good center line guard.
less ice. Okay.
So looking for the double. A bit of a roll would be nice.
Close. Yep, yep, yep.
Sweepers on this one for line.
Hard.
Rock is moving pretty hard.
Hard.
Can they hold it?
Hard, 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 hard.
Right on the nose, and it does squirt out into the open.
Same thing, that's okay there.
Don't
Would really
wanna
like
go
to
top
remove
four,
both.
Leave them that double. Yeah. I think just top 8. Okay. Oh. Top 4, top 8. Yeah, line. Higher line. Top 4.
This rock will start to make its move right now.
Whoa. Whoa. Top 4. Whoa.
Sweeper is
Okay,
going to leave
bring
it.
Around ours.
Let it try to
Brian,
curl.
Brian. Hard. Hard. Go. Good.
Beautiful shot just above the tee.
It was deeper than they wanted to go to. They were talking about before that shot that they didn't want to leave Chelsea the double and roll under the corner here. So, you know, the placement they were really looking for was, you know, half into the top 8 foot, kind of almost side by side with the other stone. So we'll see what happens here. I know as soon as they knew that it was heavy, they were trying to take it as deep as possible so that this double wasn't so easy. They may have accomplished it. If Chelsea throws some big weight here. 7/8
hard
roll.
for line. Just gets by the guard and gets a wick of the back one.
Got to the inside of that one.
So close to the guard.
Still a very good shot there. Sweepers were hard at work on that one. They definitely saved the day there.
So Anderson now sitting 1. Chance to draw a second one in. And sit 2.
Line's great. Yep. Okay, we're top. Line's great. Room. Easy. Brienne's up. 14-7. Got to finish. Finish it. Yep.
Waits perfect to get to the button.
Okay.
Yeah. Roll on top. Yeah, I like that.
Sarah Wilkes. Their last rock this end. Sweepers on this one, looking for a little roll, corner freeze. It's a bit of a roll, but
Yeah. Say it was a 10 played off of our day. Yeah. Do you want to make sure you tell the Yeah. Or do we need 9.5?
So that spot there works pretty well because Anderson has to play the hit and roll to the outside here. Nose hit is probably doable,
Like a 9.5.
but if she's to hit it on the inside to try and get that hit and roll, unfortunately she's going to jam
Yeah,
this
and go
stone.
for the roll.
Anderson with the takeout.
Whoa. Whoa.
Close.
Nope.
Whoa. Yeah.
Whoa, yep.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. 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 Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
Loses the 2 in the back and rolls hers over to the button.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so the inside roll ended up working out pretty well with that splash that came off, and still lost that carry stone. They definitely wanted to get a bit more roll.
So Team Carey with the hammer in this 4th end of play.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're on the 11th side, but it was good. Yeah. I'd like to roll a little further if we could, like out in speed, but. Felt nice on the flip side.
Chelsea Carey now with her first stone of this 4th end. Keep it on this one for line.
Whoa! Whoa there! Whoa, close! No! No! Close! Yep! Yep! Hard! 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 Shoot her, Brianna!
Definitely looking to roll as far away as possible. It's not quite enough. So I'm going to leave a shot here for Anderson to kind of take the end away here.
Good hit and roll here, lumping over behind cover.
Okay.
Gives her the opportunity to force a 1.
Yeah, set up a great steal opportunity too. That stone will be almost biting top button, I would imagine, if it rolled far enough.
Whoa!
Last stone for Anderson, this
Yep.
4th
Yep.
end.
Whoa! 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 Close! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! 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 Yeah! Hard! Yeah! Whoa! Hard! Whoa! Hard!
Looking for a little roll.
Just not quite enough. On, off. It was so close to breaking. You know, again, I think one sheet on the ice. It's just not quite reacting exactly the same as it has been all weekend. Just not much you can do about that as the ice maker in preparing this. It's just something both these teams have played championship finals, and you know they've got the experience for this. It's just putting that into practice is sometimes easier said than done.
Edmonton skip, Chelsea Carey with the chance for a hit and stick for 2
Okay, whoa! Whoa!
and a 3-point lead if she can make this. Sweepers on it.
Hard! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Yes! Whoa! You're okay. You're okay.
Need to just squeak by the guard. Make sure you stick around, which is no problem. And a nice controlled takeout for 2. And we've got a 5-2 game after 4 ends of play. You are watching the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic from the Portage Curling Club. We're going to take a few moments to thank some of our many sponsors. And welcome back to the Portage Curling Club. We've played 4, we've got 4 more to go. As Team Carey and Team Anderson are taking They're taking it on head-to-head here at the Portage Curling Club. It is a 5-2 score as Carey scored 3 in the second end, and then, of course, 2 more here in the fourth end, while Anderson had 2 in the third end. And this game has been pretty tight so far. Both teams made some nice shots, though there have been a few misses in this game.
Yeah, I think the little bit of straighter ice conditions in this game have caught both teams a little bit. I think it really is Carey's team that has managed to minimize the mistakes for the most part. Really, that steal of 3 for Carey in the second end is the difference here. Score 2 by Anderson, score 2 by Carey. We'd be a tie game otherwise. So, you know, it's not over yet. 5 rock rule. You know, expect to see lots of rocks in play. As a result, Chelsea's going to have to continue to play an aggressive game to defend against Anderson using that 5 rock rule.
2, 3 right now.
Just got talking to Patty Ruthrich, coach of Team Anderson between games. You know, we're curious about Shannon Burchard being in the house and trying to figure out when they started doing that. And she said that this is the first game with Shannon in the house, and she's just got a little bit of a lingering shoulder soreness, so they're just trying to protect against that and give her a bit of a break here.
So 1 rock in the rings, 1 as a corner guard, and an opportunity to throw another one up on the center line.
Yeah, for the Anderson team, this is their 43rd game of the season already, and we're middle of October.
Halfway tight.
Okay, gotta be tight.
I think we're tight.
Okay, line's good for tight.
A little worried.
Dana, stay down. It's over curling.
Okay, tight. I think we're really tight.
Okay. Line's good.
Really tight.
Okay, just let it sit.
Don't want to.
Very nice. Good.
So another center line guard thrown up.
A little light right now, tight.
And Anderson looking to throw up another rock on the corner.
Got it, curl. Got it, curl. That was it. It's tight right now. Hard valve. Hard.
Sweepers are working hard to get this one
Right over, right over.
far and deep as they possibly can. It is moving here at the end.
Good. Good girl. Go, Brian.
Yeah, nicely played shot there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you throw a long guard for now.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I love this call from Chelsea here. Just jam the middle. Anderson's playing a pretty aggressive 5 rock strategy here, and if with Hammer, and if Chelsea can counter that with an aggressive strategy in return, Anderson's going to have a hard time getting that shot stone off the top of the 4-foot. It can be kind of scary at times. You know, you got a 3-point lead and you're throwing a double center guard here. You know, I think the term insanity comes to play in the minds of some people watching this, but you know, I think, you know, it's one of the things we didn't quite see this level of aggression in the Grand Slams with the 5 rock. But I think what's started to happen now is teams are actually selling out strategy-wise for the game. Because in the past years when the Grand Slams were 5 rock, teams still played everything else with the 4 rock strategy. So, you know, you had to balance your gameplay using slams to prepare for playdowns and other events that you play, chasing that Olympics, the trials and everything as well. So you didn't want to have to go play a totally different style on both. But now we're really seeing teams start to sell out into this technique. Another great call here from Anderson, the little chip. Nice roll underneath. Yeah, that's how you counter that other center guard there. Chip it, roll under the corner.
Now I have 3/4.
You have what?
3/4 of it.
Okay. Do we rip this double? It's like a half rock.
Okay. Yeah.
Just rolled a little bit too far out into the open on the other side of that
Ladder
corner.
Here for now.
Looks like there's a double on the outside there.
Dan also suggested like peel the guard and roll to the center.
Yeah, I don't
Like
try to
playing
almost
at
run it
those.
into this. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
You can throw out turn at it. If you just roll here, that's okay too.
My out turn?
No, mine.
Okay.
The lefty, Dana Ferguson in the hack here.
Yeah, I think so.
You gotta get your in turns and out turns right when your lefty and righties are in play.
Ferguson with her first shot of this end.
Oh,
I stepped that a little too hard.
oh, 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 oh.
Sorry.
Okay, take the shooter right over, yeah.
And it's a peel.
Yeah, just roll
You like
straight out
guarding
here.
that, or-
Really wanted to stay in play in the middle there somewhere.
Half? Yeah. Yeah.
So Anderson makes this hit. Carey's likely going to step up and do something with those two stones on the outside there.
Whoa, no. Whoa, no, never.
No.
Oh. No, 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 no.
Waiting for this one on line, just not moving.
Really trying.
It does come enough at the end to remove the stone, but rolls out into the open.
Looks like there is a double there.
Make this one. I don't think we can leave this rock here, eh? Okay. Like a third? About a third.
Middle blue. Roll towards the blue on the top of the 4 and try and remove both those stones.
So the double takeout attempt by third, Sarah Wilkes.
Yep. Hard. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, right to it. Hard.
It's about half a stone, removes the back one as well.
Go, Chelsea,
Is it going to go? Is it going to go?
Yes,
Just enough.
Good sweeping
Nice.
and completely out of play. So
Now the rings are split here for Anderson. Nice little hit, flip into the 12-foot.
9.5.
They'll be lying 2.
Like, here, just a.
You know, I think very well called end here by Carey. You know, changing gears. This is managing the scoreboard with the 5-rock rule. Their opening, you know, was important to prevent Anderson from having a free wheel with the 5-rock. But as soon as the opportunity presented itself for Carey to kind of, you know, minimize the damage and set this up, now house is split. You know, the worst she's going to get is 2 here, and then this.
completely misses that rock in the rings.
That's just an unforced error here.
So now Carey with the opportunity to hit, roll in, sit 2,
Normal?
and how quickly this end changes.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate there for Val Sweeting. Just looks like they just threw it a little soft. Sweepers were on it from the start, so.
Whoa. Whoa. No, no. You're rolling out.
This rock is not moving.
Okay.
And only a quarter's hit, so another error here.
Yeah. She threw that more.
Her weight was actually not.
Yeah, it was 9-1. Okay, threw it a little more aggressive, but I do think like if you're.
Yeah, it would have been nice to stay, but not nearly as critical. I think had she made that nose hit, Anderson would have likely drawn around the center. With the house as split as it was, there wasn't going to be a chance to get the blank, but now the blank is in play.
Yeah, I think. Top. It's high. If you're 12. Mine's fine. At least show her this side, right? Since she's rolling into. Yeah, I think this makes that. Okay.
So looking for a hit and roll here.
I think 9.5. 10. Yeah.
Val Sweeting.
Yeah, this was the line she tried to throw on the last shot that overcurled, trying to figure out what she did throw, what she needs to throw.
Girls are just laughing about this one.
Yeah, they're having some fun out there.
Hit. No roll, sticks right in the spot.
Even big roll on the other side's not bad. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so based on that, that one was 8.5. But yeah.
Yeah, Val even sharing a laugh with Sarah Wilkes there.
Yeah, even, I don't mind even right, yeah. Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these players know each other quite well. Sarah Wilkes has played a little bit with Val Sweeting, spared in the past. Chelsea has played out of Manitoba, of course, so she's been on the circuit against Shannon Burchard and Carrie Anderson, and of course Brienne Mayer, and then you know, she spent some time in Alberta now too, against Sweeting.
I know, it freaks me out too. I don't blame you.
Chelsea Carey. Her first of two skip stones this end.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Right off.
And another rock that's struggling to follow the line out there.
Yeah, so staying outside the rings. This is going to give Anderson a chance to draw around that center guard.
Here. Where did he take there? Yeah. I think so. Yeah. It was definitely not you, Val.
Yeah, that reference. Carrie Anderson acknowledging she put the broom maybe in the wrong place for Val's shot that sailed on by.
Okay.
Anderson looking for the draw behind cover.
Top 12.
So she doesn't want it too deep. Top 12 would be fine. Carrie Anderson with her first stone of this fifth end.
Okay, just top
Line's
12.
good. Sweep
Line's
it early,
good.
guys.
Line's nice.
Sweep it early.
Yep,
It's
yep,
over.
pick.
It's picking. Fuck's sakes.
Yep, hard, hard.
Three.
Keep going. You got it, you got it. Go, 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 hard.
We need a cash register sound effect or something like that.
Not too happy with the outcome of that shot. Feels that it picked on
Yeah,
the way down, so
yeah. The Carrie sweepers are going brushing the path. Definitely seems like something affected that shot there. So I can understand Carrie's frustration in the moment there.
Yeah, and I feel like we played out here for hits, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't be too bad.
to the middle. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like that. Like, it looks pretty worn in over here, so it shouldn't be too bad.
so Chelsea Carey with the chance now to draw behind some cover.
Yeah, really, the whole goal here is just to hide one somewhere, get the force. If you can make it really good, that's great. But you know, forcing Anderson to a single point here would be huge.
Okay. I do too. I don't think you can hurt just by hitting it a little bit out of my hand.
Last rock for Chelsea Carey in this fifth end of play. Still one more to go.
Okay, room.
Lots of lines.
Room.
Wait only.
Lots of room.
0 line right now,
You're
guys.
going to have to bring it right back. So much room.
0 lines.
This one just hanging out there.
All the way. Your line's getting better, Sarah.
Right back.
Go.
Sweeper's going to drag this one as far as they can just to see if they can get it to move behind cover.
I don't care about depth here. It's about being buried, and you know, all the way back is perfectly fine here. Looks like Anderson can probably see, you know, a sliver of that. If they want to get aggressive here, they could play, you know, board weight, hack weight, blank attempt.
But yeah.
Like a hack.
Whether that we score and then feel.
As long as you can put the broom down and trust to hit it and know that the ice is going to finish the shot for you. You know, I think the blank attempt is very makeable, but it's so easy to see that rock being as buried as it is and, you know, underthrow it or, you know, even, you know, just, you know, if you overthrow it a hair, it's going to sail on by. So
You have to wonder, too, what Anderson is thinking as she watched the last rock on a draw hang out there for so long.
Yeah.
What will happen to her is that she's playing a little bit more weight. Will it continue to stay out there and not come in?
Yeah, so that's also one of the challenges to consider, too. Things have been a hair straighter this entire game. So
Mine's nice.
instead, she's just going to take her single here.
Just keep it
Whoa, running,
right
running.
now.
Line's great now. Clean it.
See, that's
Clean
fine.
it.
It's good. We're on it. We're on it. We're on it.
So sweepers know exactly where this one's going to go, and they're okay with that. It's one for blue as Team Anderson takes one. We are a 5-3 score. We have 3 more to go. You're watching the 2018 Canadians Classic here from the Portage Curling Club.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Curling Club as we have a 5-3 score here after 5 ends of play for Team Carey. And Team Carey now will return and get the hammer. She's up by 2. And Anderson looking to throw up a center guard.
We've got 2 right now.
Okay, it's curling early.
Yep.
Leave it high. Leave it high.
We're high. Yeah.
So
It's okay. It's good.
just gets that one barely over the hog line. The girls all laughing about it.
Yeah, they're having so much fun right now. Who could blame them, right? In another final, 5th final in a row after winning your first 4. Nice payday here already, and the season's going really well for this Anderson team.
Lily? Feet's a little down. Just top 8.
Hard then.
Top 12.
Oh no. Line's fine. Just go. Yep. Every inch. All you got.
So Carey getting Knapp to
Right done.
drag this one as far as they can. And she gets a biter into the 12. Anderson just ignoring that, putting up another center guard is the plan.
Okay, just tight. Line's great. Whoa, running.
Right now.
Curling now. Curling now.
It's top 12 right now.
Oh no. 15-1. Yeah, you got. Yes. Woo! Good one.
That one
Perfect.
stops
Perfect.
just in front of the house.
It's real close. It's close. I'd measure it if we care.
So that's the question. Is it in or is it out?
Well, they can measure here right now. This is one time in the game you can get the measuring stick out middle of the game.
Okay, where's the 6-foot stick?
So they are going to take a measure here.
Face it in.
Trying to figure out where the... Carey knows where that is. He's already got it
So the 6-foot stick will tell us whether or not this rock is just in play.
And it is in.
So that one slid just a little too far. Now an opportunity to remove that stone.
So not so perfect. So this changes the shot. The difference from likely Carrie would have played some sort of backline tick, try and roll her shooter out into the open. Now she can play this with hack weight, make sure she removes that stone and keeps her shooter somewhere on the outside.
Knapp now with her second stone. Need this one for line. Sweeper's got to keep this one on the other side of the center line before it reaches, and it's going to nick.
Rub on the top, that's perfectly fine. Really nice option there for Carrie.
So Anderson looking to put another guard up front.
Like still like high 16s? Yeah. Okay, just high, line's great. Okay, line's fine. It's gonna over curl. Okay, it's over curling. Whoop.
This rock moved way more than she thought it would. Now an opportunity to nick that stone again, this time with a little bit more room. So Carrie looking for a little hit and roll.
Sorry, I think I was just a little soft out of my hand.
So now that guard is quite high there, so they're going to ignore this, play the one tight to the rings. It's going to be hard for Anderson to hide something behind that high guard with how much it curls here. And the other thing that's potentially going to happen, if this thing curls up enough.
All right, Sarah.
It's a little wick, but that's not enough to move that stone out of play.
No, and that's actually sitting shot now too. Just up the weight a little too much.
Okay, scared.
So Anderson now looking to put up that center guard again one more time.
Okay, easy. Whoa, nice, guys. Room right now. Just clean. Whoa, not curling yet. Not curling. Val's in. Val, gotta finish. Hard finish, hard.
Sweepers
Hard.
trying to pull this one as far as they can.
Go. Good.
I really just want to get that on the right line.
A little less than that. Yep.
Still try it?
Yeah. That's not the right weight.
Yeah. The weight time's fine.
Oh,
but-
okay. Then I'll throw it better.
Now trying the little tick and roll. Waiting for this rock to make its move. Not curling enough.
Yeah, same thing down this path again.
Sweeper trying to make this one move for it.
Gonna hit
Wanting
a-
another tick and another possible rollout.
Yeah, just, again, a little straighter out there. Not getting quite the same curl that they've been expecting all weekend long. Like even Chelsea, suggested the weight was fine on the first one. And, I think she just took a hair off, but not quite enough on the broom placement.
Okay, line's great. Where? Okay, line's fine.
Val Sweeting with her first
Line's
stone of the
great.
end.
Clean it. Clean it. Okay, Shannon. Yep, Shannon. Brianne, whichever. Yep, yeah, gotta go. Okay, whoa. It's fine. Okay, good.
Once more, another center line guard.
Either go around it or we try this. That's going to be top, like almost T-line though.
Because if we get rid of that one, like where can they go? Yeah, anywhere else.
I think Chelsea's got to stick with that center guard up front.
No.
You can see a nice chunk of it already.
Yeah, and the thing is that's the stone that's going to get them in trouble this end. You know, if you're Chelsea Carey, you're up 2 with, you got to score here. Don't worry about scoring 2. Just make sure you score. Don't give up a steal. They're going to talk about it here. Let's listen in.
I'm just thinking we can't really hide from that high guard right now. We've shown we can, like, it'll get
It's
there.
just getting a bit scary with all this stuff in the corner.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Right, so that's what's concerning.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess they have to keep throwing this tight guard though, and eventually if they get in there, actually be able to, although if they put it in the right spot, we'll be able to score by hit. That's the problem, right?
I just worry if we play this now, we're locking ourselves down for sure.
Try. Yeah, or try the double. Which one's better?
I'd have to rock. She doesn't think that one's hurting us right now, the top one. They can't really hide from us with it. And we should have the forfeit still.
I don't want to make it better. Okay, then let's just hit and roll.
Yeah.
If you could ever touch this one and at least count that, it would be great. What kind of way do you think it? Easy? Yeah, do you have enough of it to throw that, you think, though? Okay. Okay.
So looking at a hit and roll, I think, is the option here.
Yeah, they talked about a couple things. You know, one of them was hit this with some weight and try and make a double. Looks like that broom might, I can't see exactly blocked out here by Chelsea, but you know, I like this call. Keep that middle open. You know, your whole game plan here has to be centered around making sure you score, and the best way to do that is make sure that middle is open. 3 ends to go. You've got a great position right now, 2 up with hammer for Carey.
Sarah Wilkes.
Whoa. Close. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Needs to get by the blue. She does. Hits 1.
2.
Jams on the back. Can they get the other rock out of play?
That's good, Sarah. Nice shot.
Does open things up and puts a rock behind the tee line. So
that is great. That is a great shot right there. Yes, it's still in the rings, but it's behind the tee line. It's not a danger zone right now. Danger stone for Carey right now.
Like trying to overcurl it a hair. Yeah.
You know, I think Anderson is well on her way to getting a force, but you know, she really needs to find a way to generate a steal here.
What?
Val Sweeting now with her stone.
3 right now. Okay, easy. Whoa. Curling. Whoa. 2, 3. Not curling yet. There it goes. Curling now. Gotta finish it. Brianne. Yep. 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 Hard, Brianne. Hard, 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 hard. Good.
Yeah, I think you just do the same thing again.
So looking to remove the blue. Hopefully get another one in the house is the game plan.
Yeah, he could make the double again.
Yeah, it gets 1 later, so I don't mind it as much, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to change gears here. They're going to try and go in first. Bit of an aggressive shot here. The key is you got to make it. You know, if you're a little too heavy or a little too short, you do open up the door. So as long as you're confident and you feel good about putting this half in the top 4, then you know this is a good call. Put some pressure on Anderson here.
Okay, top 4 still. Weight's really good, gotta go.
Here comes the
Rock
curl.
really started to move there. Wonder if it picked on a little something.
Whoa, but I think we gotta go.
Really nice shot.
The sweepers didn't think it needed to move that much or didn't need the weight. And all of a sudden it really cut hard.
Yeah.
So maybe picked a little something and
You know, I think perfection would have been another rock deeper.
yeah.
That rock can be curled around right now. And I think Anderson's looking at that as an option. Try and put this back 4, bite the back of the button, and then draw all the play right to the button area. For Anderson, what you'd hope for then is Carey just to come a little heavy, and then for you to come, put one on top and set up a steal situation here.
I can also get it for
We've got a pretty good crowd here tonight in the Tavern United pub. Overlooks the Portage Curling Club. Sunday night in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba.
This is the hot ticket in town. The best female curlers from around are here, and they are competing for up to $60,000 in prize money, so a good chunk of change. Sweepers trying to drag this one. Wicks on the blue.
Brian. Whoa. Shoot.
Not what they were hoping for.
Yeah, just a little light on that.
Still a dangerous stone because, of course, she could promote that up into the 4 foot.
I think for Carey, she's looking at just a nose hit here. Just blocks the path. It doesn't look like there's a draw the other way. To end up getting around the yellow stone, you're going to need more ice, so that high corner guard on the outside is blocking the path.
So just hitting and sticking here would block the port, give her the ability to tap that one back later on for 2.
It's really about preventing Anderson the opportunity to get there first. So it's key that you don't roll either way here.
So nose hit, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I think the nose hit is plan B here. I don't know exactly which way Carey wants to go.
That's the miss, but I think nose is better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she's starting to get onto that same page. She was talking about making some sort of a roll one way or the other, but she may have settled on the stick. On the nose is the call now.
You're not getting the, just roll it like so that it lines up something here, like just stay on the center line.
A slight roll inside is certainly acceptable here. They just don't want to bury it behind the blue guard because then they can't use it themselves.
Chelsea Carey with her first of 2 skip stones. Sweepers holding for line. That's the game plan. Got a little inside roll.
Well, Lai's second shot now, or sorry, third shot.
Oh, the one that.
Oh.
No.
It's fine. Well, do we just go here? Try and make that. What do you girls like? Like this? Yeah.
I can get to the back button.
So the options
Or you
are
play that and sip 2.
try to draw one in or try to wick off the yellow and do a bit of a double here.
We're going to talk about this here. Let's see what they say.
Yeah. You gotta draw with.
Yeah, it's very thin.
Yeah, it's like.
Sit there.
You know, I'm not a fan of the front end here. Both of them are talking freeze on the front. I don't
Well,
like the
this
hit
is
either. This draw to the back of the button, we've seen this all weekend. This shot's very makeable. And you can go half in the back four and be overburied here.
Yeah. I think that's not bad.
And you air to be here.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I think with this foursome that they're going to have a tendency to not be aggressive enough as a group. You know, I think Val played a pretty straight up conservative game with her team. I know Carrie Anderson really prefers to hit.
Yeah. I don't mind.
And so I think this is something that this team's going to need to work on.
Come back and pass this out to create.
Yeah, so even if I'm here, you could probably tap it for 2. That's
Yeah,
a more difficult shot.
This is something that I think they need to
Yeah.
work on a bit. Like, I'm surprised they haven't already put the draw around the back.
Yeah, I like that.
You like 14.5?
I think
You like
so,
that
yeah.
height?
I think a little bit more. Just give us
Yeah.
for weight 15.2.
So it looks like they settled on the draw around the back.
Okay, so 14.5.
This is the last stone for Team Anderson.
As soon as we're by, if you can, Val, you can go on it.
Yeah, line. Yep.
Yep, hard then.
Yep. Hard line.
Line's great.
Yep. Hard line.
Hard!
Sweeper's trying to drag this one.
Hard!
Yeah, this is really
Hard.
moving
You
early
gotta
here.
tap off it. You gotta bounce off.
So looking for a little wick
Hard.
here to block some of the forefoot at least, if anything. So this gives Carey the opportunity to draw in for 2. Take a 4-point lead with 2 ends to go.
I think
Just
they
that heavy, I think
briefly
it's
looked
like
at
14.
the run. That Yellowstone on the side there, they could have stuck it on the back for
I did
3.
feel like I kicked out
Even
that
if they
way.
made contact with the back, at least it's for 2. Definitely, you know what, take the draw here, get your 2, and take a 4-point lead with 2 ends to go. That's usually a pretty good spot to be.
So our final stone here of the 6th end is a draw for 2.
Line's good. Here we go, room. No, you don't. No, line's great. Gotta go. Hard line.
Sweeper's trying to hold this one,
Hard line.
trying to get it around that blue. They are pushing it. It's going to wick. So it's only 1 for Team Carey. And now a 6-3 lead after 6 ends of play. Hammer will switch to Team Anderson, and we have 2 more to go. You are watching the 2018 Canad Women's Classic. And we are back here at the 2018 Canada Inns Women's Classic from the Portage Curling Club. We've played 6, we've got 2 to go, and we have a 3-point lead for Team Carey as they are taking on Team Anderson. Make sure you stick around afterwards. We will have the awards presentation. And don't forget, we have plenty of curling action still going on here in Portage-la Prairie. On November 16th to the 19th, we will have the Canada Inns Mixed Doubles Classic. And of course, always lots of curling going on the World Curling Tour's YouTube channel. You can always check that out and watch what's going on there.
Yeah, next weekend we actually have an event in Latvia. Yeah, exactly. You got a challenger event in Latvia that'll be covered on our YouTube channel. So I noticed that the games were already queued up and ready to go. So excited to see some of the action there. We've got a lot of developing events in new regions: Latvia, Estonia, Poland, Hungary, and into Japan. You know, it's really exciting to see curling grow internationally.
Okay, line's great.
Okay, we're okay. 2-3 right now.
Okay, leave this one high maybe. Can you get it to a 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Oh, that's good. 16-2. That's tight. Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Just like it.
Opposite rock?
Yes.
Sorry? Yeah. Yeah.
Brienne Knapp.
Close. Weight's pretty good. Weight's nice. Looks like it's done. Weight's good. Weight's good.
Trying for the center line guard.
Go. I think we're coming down. Just do it.
Hard line, hard.
We're not bumping.
Hard line.
Yeah, the call here is in. Getting a little closer to the end of the game. They're willing to, put these two in.
Good bump.
So Carey with 2 very nice stones in the middle. You see Anderson calling same side corner guard here.
Yeah.
Line's great. Yep, hard. Hard, gotta go. Hard back.
Yep, we're over.
Fine.
Great shot. Nice high corner guard there. Didn't hear what she called, but I'm going to assume she's calling a tight center guard here.
Line close, slow then. Has to just be tight. Needs to curl.
There's rock hanging out there quite a bit.
Yeah, you really don't want to leave this long. So the right way to miss this shot, just be a little bit heavy into the rings.
And that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, that's okay. Definitely a very good chance now for Anderson to get 2 with the 3 being in the rings. But, a 2's fine here.
Yep. Whoa.
Catch the top one on the nose, and 2 spill out, 1 remains. Nice shot.
Yeah, it looks good, but the problem is Anderson needs stones at play right now, and had that been thrown with a hack weight, you splash them around the rings, and you keep that stuff in there for backing.
Nose should be just in.
It's just that, I think it's the mentality of the team. They like to hit. and they're a team that wins a lot with hitting because they're such great hitters. And you know, I do come from Ontario, where we solve our problems with draws, and you'll tend to see more solving problems with the hits out here in Manitoba and Alberta. And great hitting team like this is going to win a lot of games just purely by skill. But you know, Carey's going to hit this. They're going to lie two. They're going to control the side here. Like with nothing in the back, Carey can throw that shot risk-free.
Yeah.
Burchard with her
Where?
second rock here of the end.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. 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 Brianne's rock. Right here. Brianne.
Sweep in this one,
good,
get
good.
around the corner guard. Nice shot.
Up there. You peel or you freeze? Peel, like I'm just thinking it through.
Yeah,
They
so
hit and roll over there.
you look at the rings right now, Carey is sitting shot. That is actually pretty critical to this decision.
This is my first thought.
Chelsea's a pretty aggressive player. She's not scared to make a go. I think in this situation, playing the scoreboard is just peel the high guard. They're going to try and put another one underneath. Then you peel the guard again.
That's my guess.
And now you're going to have an opportunity to make a double at some point or make a play on those stones later. For Carey, even if she gives up 3 here, that's not the end of the world. This shot does, however, have the opportunity to get a force. Kind of risk-reward play in this situation.
Sarah Wilkes.
No, Dana.
This rock is not even moving. Staying so straight.
Okay, I'm just telling you where it is.
Goes right by the stone they were trying to tap back.
It's close, but it may still be sitting shot.
They're close.
So if that is the case, they're sitting first and second shot rock.
Yeah, it's behind the tee line though, and all you got to do is move it a couple inches, and the top one is shot too. Yeah, a little scary. That mistake is not a. That could hurt.
Val Sweeting.
Whoa, 10. Whoa. 9.5, 9. Clean it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yep, yep. Atta girl.
Nice little roll behind a bit of cover.
Yeah, that's the spot Sweeting had some challenges with a couple ends ago down this spot.
I think that's us. It is close.
You know, really good team dynamics there where Carrie Anderson took responsibility for Val's miss. And, you know, I think Val was quite confident in how she threw that stone there. And a really nice hit and roll underneath.
Yeah, you will. Okay. Yep. Whatever you like. I was thinking firm, good firm.
Sarah Wilkes now
Firm. Oh, yep. Yeah!
looking to run back the yellow onto the blue. They needed this one for line. It's moving.
Good, I think.
Just a little piece, and that's enough.
Good throw. That curled a lot. Yeah.
Now it comes to the rocks at the back of the house there. This yellow shot rock.
I know she can freeze off. Like,
Yeah.
one around the other side. Don't. We got full of.
front end is kind of discussing amongst themselves as to whether you actually freeze to the nose of your blue stone. It's not shot right now. I like that call because you would tuck 2 under a double corner guard.
Okay.
And so for Carrie, it's going to be difficult to remove that. And even though Carrie's sitting shot, you know, she's really going to be put into a pressure situation there. They're going to play back to this yellow one there, move it so that they lie first and second shot ideally. But Carrie should be able to see most, if not all, of this stone being thrown here by Sweeting. So at least she'll be able to have a little bit of an easier play at one of the Sweeting stones, one of the Anderson stones.
Sweepers cleaning this one for line and for weight. They need this one.
Whoa, whoa.
This one's going to wick off their own, I think.
Roll it, roll it. Here, yep. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty easy for Carrie to remove.
For the 6. Because I was like, I remember when I gave last. I was giving you here.
Yeah.
So I gave her here. I had her.
Well, that's why I want to roll away.
Yeah.
If we know it's no good,
Right.
it's making it, right?
Yeah. I don't mind that then.
We know he knows, but if we can get across to this touch, I think we want to lose this rock, don't we?
Yeah, like the only good thing about it is so counting this one.
I know, but I'm not sure how this much. Come here, Sarah.
Because even if you make this instead, you're just making the cost.
So bringing in the third here,
Yeah, you're right. Carbs are killing it.
Sarah Wilkes, to discuss this. Do you remove the blue and your second shot rock?
Yeah, so by nose hitting this,
He makes the freeze, but then it at least negates that one.
the shot they'll leave Anderson is the double to sit 2.
Okay, I don't hate it.
The shooter has to stay in the open if Anderson makes that shot, though. So then Carey will have an open hit to then give Anderson a shot for 2. And right now, that's a good thing. You know, if you give up 2 here, you're in a great position coming home.
No, this is where before work called a little.
Yeah.
A little roll to the inside. You know, you may make it a little bit more difficult. You know, the key is just remove this blue stone. Make sure it goes out. And as long as your shooter stays in close to this nose here, it's a pretty good spot.
Hair last, Dana. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
First of the skip stones this end, Chelsea Carey. Edmonton, Alberta.
Whoa! Whoa!
Wants to remove the blue in the side 8-foot.
Whoa! No!
Rock needs to move a little bit. Doesn't jam, sits what looks like to be 2.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. You know what? This is almost a shot here where if Anderson could throw peel weight at this, hit, I don't know, 15/16 on the board side, make the double, try and get the shooter underneath the corner guard. Lie 2 buried, 3's in play.
I think we have to make a double to get our juice.
So Anderson looking for her 2 this end and then a steal. And 8 is the game plan.
Yeah, you got to make sure you get 2 here. You can't force yourself to a single.
And single, 2 down, going home without hammer. Not a good situation for any team.
No, not at all. That's a real slim chance of winning. I've seen some teams come back from down 1 without. Just got to get a steal and then try and grind another one out in the extra.
Hit this one, they get them both.
Unfortunately, they left the double in return.
less looping, right?
I agree.
Was that what we're on?
So a chance here for Carey to get herself out of this end and possibly force her competition to just one.
You threw a 9-9, just so you know. Okay, pretty close.
Let's roll it kind of up. It's not quite up to it, but just a rock. Okay, this is, yeah, same everything. We just leave it a little less.
Yeah, I don't think she's actually calling the double here.
I don't think so.
The whole idea, just hit and make the roll over.
Lump it over behind the guard and force her to draw for her one.
Yeah, it's essentially as good as the double. And the reason for this is she just threw this line. She knows the spot. She wants to throw the same weight. It's a comfort zone for her here. And,
Chelsea Carey
like
with her last rock of this end.
Whoa! No! Close! No! Nothing.
And this rock is not moving at all.
We're basically on nose. Okay, that's good.
So still an opportunity to hit and stick for two.
just a little bit more weight on her second one than the first one, and it ran a little straighter in that spot.
So Carrie Anderson now with the chance to jump back in and get her two. Last rock of this seventh end. Carrie Anderson hit and stick for two.
Queen, yep. Yep. Queen, yep. Queen.
Looks like she's got a good stone.
That's okay.
She gets her two. And we have a 1-point game coming back here on the eighth end. You're watching the 2018 Canad Women's Classic live from the Portage Curling Club. We'll be back after just a few moments.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
And it may all come down to this final end here in Portage La Prairie, the 2018 Canad Women's Classic. Team Carey, Team Anderson. It is a 1-point game. It is 6-5 right now for Team Carey, and they do have the hammer. So Team Anderson will be on the offense this final end.
Yeah, I expect to see double center guards here.
15-7. Hi, girl.
Carey's going to likely play the tick shot here.
Is that enough ice, you think? Easy hack. Yep. Gotta go.
A little tight on the line here coming out.
Really gotta go.
Yeah, this is going to crash a little too hard here. Carey Anderson's got to work to get this out.
She does, and we will replay some stones. Good opportunity with the wreck on the free guard.
Yeah, they just hit it a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
Just a little tight on line. You know, the weight was pretty good. That's the kind of weight you want to throw on a tick when you're up one without. You know, you want to try and lose your shooter so that it gets out of play.
Line's great. Yeah, just clean. There it goes. Curling now. Over. Okay. Line's fine. It's got to finish a bit, but I don't want to. Yep. That a girl. Good. Okay, Brian.
Carey now looking just to draw one into the 4-foot. Sweepers need to keep holding this one. This rock will swing quite a bit here in the next little few moments. You can see how it's just sliding right behind those two guards, so great opportunity.
Yeah, changing gears there for Carey. Chelsea, Carey.
Unless we want to get shot.
I mean, I guess we can see running.
Let's try and go like back button. Okay.
Here we go. I love this call.
You guys think like a 14 then? I just got a 14-3 on.
Again, that rock is kind of a quasi-guard there, half in the 4-foot. We've seen teams bury under that in the past.
Okay, yeah, bit. Line's great.
Rock is hanging out there a little bit.
Yep. Line's great, Rim. Whoa, easy.
Rock needs to move quite a bit.
13-6. No.
Just a little too much weight.
And here's the backing that Carey will gladly have.
Great, that's fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that shot, actually. It's it creates a stone that something can jam on. It creates a stone that they can freeze to. Really, at this point of the game, they need to get something behind the button. And what happens then is it creates an opportunity to freeze to it. You know, you'll see some teams, sometimes what they do there is they come down and they tap that yellow stone, try and get it back behind the tee line. You know, that's why that draw around that center guard is so difficult sometimes, because where it is right now, halfway, it acts as a bit of a guard. If they ever came into the top button, Anderson could come down, tap it back behind the button, and then utilize that later. So, you know, that placement of that draw around the center guards is so difficult to be perfect.
Anderson looking just to, I believe, throw one up there again.
I believe so. That's the idea behind this, is that you know they're going to go peel it again.
Just high.
Don't come in too early here.
Oh, just clean. Room right now. Nope. Oh, no.
So what you have to do with these shots is you have to kind of guess when your opponent is going to make their move and try and make the move first.
No.
They need this rock to stop quickly.
Good.
Another opportunity to peel for Team Carey.
Double peel is in play here.
If you do it this way.
Well, do you want to play it so that it, like, don't play it too cute then?
Yeah, I'm just worried about blocking the draw on the center.
Right.
Which is fine if you make it.
Yeah.
Right? But if we hit it a little, like if we just miss it and roll it here, that's what I'm worried about.
It's up to you. I feel like I can try and play a little harder.
If you like it, I'm fine with it.
Let's play it. You're okay with the straight peel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Straight feels fine.
Okay. Okay, we're not going to play it cute. If we make it, great, but she'd rather the straight peel than us walk off the draw.
Dana with the game plan on the shot there. Just getting one of these rocks is perfectly fine.
Dana, yeah.
Go ahead.
Dana Ferguson with a peel here.
Threw a bit more weight on that one to just make sure that that roll was going to go far enough.
I don't know, I just lost all my face on the last shot.
Came out a little wobbly.
Just through the whole game. Yeah. Like I kind of felt like as I was throwing it.
Okay. Where?
All right. Top 4 right now.
Close.
Top 8.
Whoa.
Top 4.
Look deeper. Yep. Come around it.
Whoa. Yep. Yeah. Come around.
Come around.
We're back.
Close.
Back 4.
Whoa.
Sweepers aren't touching this one at all for weight.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Plant another one in the back 4.
Now it's shot, too.
Good call, Brianna, on the weight there. Yeah, let's make it.
This looks like they're going to attempt the double in the back here. Remove those danger stones behind the tee line.
Big weight here coming out of the hack.
Yep, yep.
Sarah Wilkes. This one is hanging a little bit. Needs to get a good piece of the first one.
Perfect.
The back one.
Great shot.
Sticks around, but still a great shot.
Good communication.
Anderson now looking to put up another one in the center line.
Yep.
Wants this one in the 4-foot.
Yeah, line.
Top 4.
Whoa, yeah,
Coming
yes.
down. Yeah.
Hard.
Rock's making its move now, and you can see it's over curled.
Okay.
You know what? Still a useful stone here for the Anderson team. That's going to act like a guard. That's going to give them options down the road.
Carey taking no chance, looking to peel again.
Yeah, just get rid of the top one here.
Sarah Wilkes.
Yeah, this is likely just a straight peel. You don't want to mix this up too much and risk that jam on the yellow one, trying to play a double here.
There's one.
Yeah, make the top one go away.
So we are down to skip stones at this point.
Are we ever just trying to tap?
Yeah, then that just gives her probably double on the top here.
Tap a freeze.
What do you guys like?
Like if we come here, she picks it.
Sweeting and Mayer coming down to give their opinion.
Like come here. Yeah. And then we just bang that on the nose and sit there and make the dog. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you can't come to the back one.
Wow, good.
She can now.
Yeah. So I'm about hour 13 now. Okay. Yeah, like this one and then tack.
So we are on to skip stones here with what could be the last end of play here at the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic.
So this is a touch more ice than what. Like, yeah, just back foot.
Looking to draw in.
Okay, line's nice. Make sure, yep.
Sit, shot, stone.
Line's great. Line's good. Yep. Yep.
Sweepers are sweeping it for weight, they say.
Hard. Line's really good.
Hard, you got it hard. Keep it going hard. Never off. Hard. You got it. Go. Hard. Get it off. You got it. Go, 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 go.
It's a beauty.
Great brush.
Great brush, but they can see a little bit of it.
Yeah, I like to see about half that stone right now. I think it's almost a no-risk play for Chelsea Carey too, because you know she puts the broom down, she hits the blue one and the high blue one, or the blue one on the top of the button. That's a good result. You look at the scoreboard here, and that yellow stone in the top of the forefoot is actually a bit of a safety stone for Carey. You know, giving up a steal of one, they're still alive here. So, you know, Anderson will have a hard time making a play on that later to sit two. So, you know, peeling that top 12 stone's quite fine.
Love to stick for second.
Chelsea Carey now getting into the hack. Going to try to remove the blue that's in the forefoot.
Yep. Yep.
First stone here for Carey in the 8th end. Sweepers on it, close for line. They back off. Will they get a piece? Just enough.
Yeah, move it out of play.
And force your opponent to do the same thing, or she's going to run back, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I like this call. You're down one without. You know, you'd really love to lie more than one here.
Kind of throwing and roll.
You know, it's an easier shot for Carey to score one here. When she sits in the hack, she's going to be looking at the loss. She's been playing this whole end, the whole game now, whole second half of the game, pretty much under control. She sits in the hack, and the thought could cross her mind that if I miss this one shot, I lose the game. So it changes things psychologically a little bit for a player when you can put them into that position.
10?
Final stone for Anderson here in the 8th end.
Whoa. Yep.
Run back takeouts.
Whoa. 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 Close. Yeah. Whoa. Sit.
Beautiful shot. Sits 3.
Yeah, really good.
And the Manitoba foursome in the driver's seat for this one.
Yeah, if you were in a tie game situation there, I think you draw. Try and put it in the back of the button, force them to have to chase you. But down one without, you hit that, you lie 3 here, and you put a different kind of pressure on Chelsea Carey.
So our final stone here of the 8th end. Chelsea Carey needing to draw, get a piece of just the forefoot for the victory here in the 8th end.
Line's good. Line's great. Full 4. Or touch the 4. Line 3. Line's
Sweepers
really
just keeping this one clean.
Take a look. Room.
All about the weight here. Put it on the tee line and see what you get.
14-1. Just needs to touch the 4.
Needs a piece of the 4-foot.
It's got a little bit
And she's got it. That's the victory. Chelsea Carey drawing to the 4-foot for the victory here of the 2018 Canadians Women's Classic. Live from the Portage Curling Club. Big victory for the team. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll have the medal presentation and a highlight package of today's matchup. Well, it took all 8 ends, but we did have a final victory here for Team Carey over Team Anderson. Final score here, 7-5 at the Portage Curling Club. They go on to win this year's championship. They will be among the likes of some other big-name teams that have won this event here before. In 2014, Team Jones was the victors here. Team Kim of Korea won in 2015. Team Homan in 2016 picked up the victory, and Team Roth of the United States of America were last year's champions. This year, though, that pleasure goes to Team Carey with the victory here over Team Anderson. We're going to have the highlights here as you can see them, and of course we're going to have the medal presentation in just a few moments. But what a big game today for Team Carey. Just to recap how this game went, the very first end of play was a blank. Following that, that was a 3-point steal for Team Carey. In the third end, Anderson managed to get her deuce. In the fourth, Carey grabbed 2. In the fifth end of play, it was a single point for Anderson. In the sixth, a single for Carey. In the seventh, it was 2 for Anderson to make it 6-5. But the final point came as the final rock slid into the 4-foot to win this one by a score of 7-5. And we're going to go downstairs now live for our medal presentation and the awards for this year's event.
My name is Cindy Carswell. I'm the Vice President of Community Relations for Canadians. On behalf of Canadians, I want to thank all of the curlers for providing us with exciting and world-class curling during the 2018 Canadian Women's Classic. This is the 5th year of the $60,000 Women's Classic, and we're very proud to present this prestigious stop on the World Curling Tour. Canadians is a Manitoba-owned, Manitoba-grown, Manitoba-proud company We have a strong tradition in boxing. The Canadians Men's Classic, and in November we're proud to present the Canadians Mixed Doubles Classic. So I would like to send a thank you to all our sponsors, to the World Curling Tour, to CDC Sports, to the Portage Curling Club, to our ice technicians, Al Dahl and Trent Ward, all the volunteers, and the curling fans. We saw some great games this weekend, and we want to extend our special thanks to all the teams who played in the Canadian Women's Classic. I would now like to call Jerry Gertz from the World Curling Tour to provide a few remarks.
Thank you, Cindy. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here on behalf of the World Curling Tour. This event is a cornerstone tournament that really features some of the best teams in the world, as well as opportunities for the next generation of teams to come out and compete and have some opportunities to make some money and gain some experience. On behalf of Canad Inns, I'd like to invite Team Anderson from Gimli, Manitoba, who will receive $10,000 for their second place finish. We've got Skip Carrie Anderson, third Val Sweeting, second Shannon Burchard, and lead Brienne Mayer. And now the champions. Oh, one moment. We'll get a photo in here first. For Team Anderson, they came in winning 4 World Curling Tour events in a row. This is their 5th straight final on tour. A great start to the season. 36-7 so far on tour this year. Even gets a cheer from Team Carey. And now the champions of the 2018 Canad Inns Women's Classic, Team Carey from Edmonton, Alberta. We have Skip Chelsea Carey, third Sarah Wilkes, second Dana Ferguson, and lead Brienne Knapp. Congratulations on the win, Team Carey. And Cindy's got a few more final words.
So again, on behalf of Canadians, thank you to all the curlers for a great event. We wish you all the rest of the season, and we hope to see everyone in Portage in November. Thank you.
Well, that'll do it for us here in Portage La Prairie. On behalf of everyone here from Canad Inns, our great sponsor that has put on this wonderful event. 2 great weekends of curling, but we are not done. We are back on November 16th to the 19th for the Canad Inns Mixed Doubles. Make sure you tune in and watch. From all of us here in Portage La Prairie, have yourself a good night, and we'll see you soon.